What are the 7 lies that P0rn teaches men? And you're going to be super shocked about some of these. One, here's the thing. When you're watching something on a computer, it completely robs you of this experience of how to properly touch a woman. Most of P0rn is, as you know, it's fake. And I know some guys are just so lonely and desperate. And I don't say desperate in a way that's condescending. I'm just saying desperate, meaning they're not getting the experiences that they want in their life with a real woman. And so they're like, I gotta have this experience somewhere. I'm desperate for that connection. And so they go to P0rn. So I don't say that in a demeaning way, but it's a real desperation because we're made for connection. We're made for touch. But one of the biggest lies is it robs you of how to actually properly touch a woman, because it shows you that you can just lick right there and she's just, and she goes crazy, and that's just not mother freaking real. And so what happens is when you get with a real woman and you touch her the way you've seen in P0rn and she doesn't do the then you feel like a failure. Why? Because that guy was such a stud and she and then it was all done, and then you didn't have that experience, so you obviously are a loser. That is such bullshit, and that is one of the biggest lies, and it makes you feel like a failure, and it's just not true. She is being paid to perform that way. He is being paid to lick her that way, and none of that shit is actually real, and so it robs you of the experience of how to properly touch a woman. The second thing is it totally lies to you about how to enjoy yourself, and this is where I'm going to start sharing my story, but it teaches you that to enjoy yourself, you have to perform like this animal, this monkey, and this storyline that is completely made up, and it completely derives you of, it takes away all of your pleasure, everything that you would do naturally that feels good to your body, because you've been injecting your brain, you've been taking these syringes of P0rn and injecting them into your eyes. You're like, this is how I must enjoy myself. And no, it's an intuitive thing. It's you being connected to your body. That's how you enjoy yourself. And please, if you need help with this, go get my 7 exercises that boost your bedroom confidence, because P0rn is going to rob you of your confidence. Because why? It's a projection. It's all about you going into that cinema on your laptop screen, on your television, and going, that is the experience I should be having. Instead of it's disassociating you, instead of you coming back into your body and going, what feels natural? What feels good? What feels pleasurable to my own body? How do I enjoy myself aside from how other people are performatively telling me how I should be enjoying myself? So get that free download. It's in the comment section. It's in the description. So here's my real story. Real story is this, as I continue to give you the rest of the 5 points. Real story is this. I met a guy. I moved across the world for him. And he, as soon as I landed, I could feel a big disconnection. And I was scared. I was mortified because I left everything to move for this person. And I felt a huge disconnection as soon as I got there. You know, when they say women are empaths, we feel everything. We feel everything. And I began to ask some hard questions. I got super insecure because I was like, how does someone go from being crazy about me to just completely disassociating from me? And so this person began to share with me that they had issues with intimacy, that once they got too close to a woman, they would completely disconnect. But that wasn't the full picture. This person was hiding a very big secret from me, and I'm Latina, and you know Latinas, we gonna find that shit out. So it was a very painful journey. And as I continue on with that journey, let's go to point number 3, which is how to satisfy a woman. Trust me, I'm coming back to the story. But when you watch P0rn, what happens is you're once again paying attention to someone else's script. And you have this beautiful woman in front of you, and she has this body that is super intuitive, that is super flow freeing, and she can tell you exactly what she wants through the movements of her body, through the positioning of her neck, through the moans, through the ways that her eyes stare at you. But you will not see any of that if you're so conditioned of, I must follow this script, me must follow, me must perform. And she's going, I'm telling you everything I want through my body, and you're not paying attention to that. And so therefore you miss out totally on how to satisfy her, because some P0rn told you that you should be doing it a certain way, and you're paying attention to that instead of her body. Okay, back to my story. So something wasn't right. It got to the point where this person could not even hold my hand. They detested me so much. Now, Can you imagine how I must have felt as a woman who, once this man was like crazy about me, crazy in love with me, I move a different country for him, and all of a sudden he shuts down. I feel it. And then it just progresses and it gets worse and worse and worse. And the worst of it was he couldn't even hold my hand. And he just said that when he would hold my hand, he would just cringe inside. Now, mind you, he's told me that he's had intimacy issues. This has happened with other women, but obviously that doesn't make me feel any better. I feel lost. I feel alone. I'm in a foreign country. I don't have a lot of friends. No one has answers for me. I start reaching out to my community. I've never experienced anything like this. I don't know if it's a spiritual thing. I don't know if it's a mental thing. I don't know what's going on. But mind you, there is a secret that he's holding from me. And what did I say? I'm Latina and I'm gonna find out. So let's go on to the next point. The other lie is it makes you addicted. Now, there was a doctor named Dr. James Robinson, one of these guys, and he was saying that corn was worse than heroin and cocaine, because the reality is it does get into your spirit. It gets into your soul. It gets into your psyche. It gets into your nervous system. It gets into the wiring of your brain that this is normal. And so when an actual human being gets in front of you, you cannot, like my ex-boyfriend, you can't connect with him. But the other thing is it keeps you super glued in. It's like this soul tie that you connect with a screen, and you keep getting sucked back into it, kind of like we all are in with social media right now. And you keep getting drawn into this thing. And it's like when you have a bad day, guess where you go? You go to that comfort of your screen. You jack off watching these completely paid strangers bring you satisfaction that actually isn't real. And so you can never get enough. And it also, like any addict, what does it do? It starts killing your relationships. And as a result, the fifth is a disassociation, because anytime you're addicted to something else outside of you, what does that cause? It causes you to need to disassociate from yourself. You do not get to be connected to yourself. Now you need this other thing to survive, which means that you can't trust yourself. You can't rely on yourself. You can't listen to yourself, and you can't even feel yourself unless you have that thing feeding you. So here comes my personal story. I go through months of this. I'm bawling, crying. I feel so rejected. I feel so alone. I feel super insecure. I'm on hyper alert where I'm just constantly analyzing every woman that walks past this man's path, thinking that every other woman is a threat, because clearly I'm not enough. Something's wrong with me, that this person who just went from being in love with me now can't even touch me, that they are completely revolted by me. And I don't have the information that I have now, so I'm completely lost. And it triggers so many of my own insecurities. But when you love someone and the emotions start going, you can't just walk away. So I stay in it. And then I remember what I said. I'm Latina, I'm gonna find it. Well, I found it. And that's when I was like, just something is not right. He's telling me his intimacy issues. Nobody has answers for me. I'm gonna figure out what the fuck is going on here. And then what happens? I get on his computer and I find a file folder with some very disgusting corn on it. And I was like, this is what's going on. And so I pulled a really shitty move and like basically blasted it all over his computer. And when he came home, he was like, what the and I was like, yeah, that's what's going on here. That's why we are having problems here. You're not being honest. He broke down. He started crying. He said it was a shame point in his life, that when he felt really insecure in his life, that he would run to his computer and that these women would bring him comfort. And that goes into our next problem. The next problem is you start having problems with performing down below. Why? Because you're watching these other guys who are paid actors, who are being hired based on the size of their penis, the size of their pecs, the size of their chest, and you start going, oh, well, clearly because that guy with the chest and the dick that's like from here to here made her go, and she surrendered to him. And so obviously something's wrong with me. Like I maybe don't have that size, or I don't have the stamina that he has. You don't know he's being injected with drugs to continue to perform that way, or she's just done tons of cocaine so that she can just get through the scene. You don't know, you don't have any of that information. And so what happens is guys start getting ED. Why? Because they're comparing themselves, which comparison is the thief of all of our joy. You start comparing yourself to that guy, and you start looking at your manhood and thinking that you're not enough. And so what happens when a beautiful woman actually gets into your bed? All of that has been so injected into your brain that your penis doesn't respond. You can't perform for her, and it becomes a disaster. So I confront this guy. I say, listen, this is what's going on here. Yeah, you might have intimacy issues, but it's all intertwined together. And here you're not giving me the full information. I'm on this fucking witch hunt trying to figure out what the fuck is going on here. And this whole time you've been withholding this information from me, which is a big clue. Now at this point, I find the information I can't take anymore, because I've been on this journey for months now, living in a foreign country, trying to figure things out. This person who apparently said that they love me was withholding something from me. And I say, I'm done. I can't take it. I leave. I go back to America. This is how dark it can get with corn, is that it can completely destroy a person's life. This person thankfully realized how much of a problem was, but it came as a severe cost to me. And it comes to a severe cost as a woman, because what happened to me was I stopped eating. I was shrinking as a woman. I was getting skinnier. I was thinking of going out and getting a boob job. I put hair extensions in. I was just completely withering away. I was dying on the inside because of the severe rejection that came with this. And that's just it. It doesn't just poison you. It's not just hurting you. It starts poisoning the people around you. It poisons the woman that you're with. And when you love someone, it's not like you can just turn off a light switch and go, oh, you've done this thing to me, and so bye now. No, you become enmeshed with that person, and then that starts transferring over to that person as well. And this is the lies that no one tells you about porn. And the last one is this one. It's a brain association to a very false world. Porn promises you intimacy. It promises you that you're going to be desired. It promises you that you're going to get that big finish. It's going to give you that big release. What it doesn't tell you is that it will completely separate you and annihilate your entire world. It comes across as such a very soft addiction. It comes across as a very soft source of comfort. But the reality is it's a slow poison like cancer that continues to poison and infect you over and over and over again, to where you don't even know who you are, and you can't even connect with a woman who's actually with you. So this is a long video. This is a heavy video. That person that I shared the story with did end up working through it, did end up going on their own healing journey, did end up getting married to a very beautiful woman, and I'm still friendly with this person to this day, but it came at a severe cost to me, and I promise you that this will hurt the woman that you're with. So I have a whole set of resources that will help you with your sexuality that I don't go into heavy corn in. And I've had guys message me and say, why aren't you more graphic? For this very reason is why my courses, I try to keep elegant in my presentation of how to be sexual, but I have a whole plethora of courses to really equip you and empower you without all the dark spirits and without the addiction and all the lasciviousness that goes on with corn. And I try to do this in an elegant but very sexual way, to not demonize sexuality, but also to not participate with the darkness that corn does permeate into your brain. And you can find it all. I'll put a link in the comment section. I'll put it in the description. You can get access to all of my sexual courses, but I try to do it from a clean energy, a clean spirit, so that you guys can be awakened to your life force, which is your sexuality, without all the darkness that comes with it. I hope that my work is supporting you. I love you so much. I know this is a long video. It's very different than what I normally do, but I really do hope that it supported you. And please tell me in the comment section if you've had similar experiences, or if this video really reached you or spoke to you. I hope it did. And I hope for your woman, the woman in your life, that you acknowledge this and that you find help and that you're able to move through this. So here is a video that I highly encourage you to watch. I love you, and I will see you in my next video. I am championing you.